My name is Lawrence Ray, also known as LRW3, and this is the Talk to Me Nice podcast. And today, I got one of my guys with me, man. For the people who don't know you, go ahead and introduce yourself to him, man.
What's going on? My name is P.S. Joey, formerly known as J. Legras and JoeJoe Legras.
I knew you from the JoeJoe era, man.
The JoeJoe era for sure, man.
That's dope, man.
New name is P.S. Joey, man. P.S. Joey.
And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that name change in a little second. But, of course, you know, it's a pleasure to have you, man. Like I tell everybody, what I like to do here is build a foundation. So if somebody hadn't seen you before, they don't got to go nowhere else. They can find out everything they need to know in this one video. For sure. So let's go ahead. Let's start by building a foundation, man. Tell these people where you from.
Well, originally I'm from Alexandria, Louisiana. So I know a lot of people don't, know where that's from. But it's central Louisiana. It's a little country town, Rapides Parish. Louisiana, we don't have counties.
Yeah, you got parishes.
Parishes. Oh, yeah, you was in New Orleans.
How far away is that from New Orleans?
Probably like 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
I got family in New Orleans, but like my majority of my family is in Alexandria, Louisiana. So that's where I'm from. Hurricane Katrina happened. Me and my mom, we dipped out and moved here in Warner Robins. So that's kind of how I kind of got roots here. And that was like 2005. Right before high school. So that's when I kind of moved here in Warner Robins.
Gotcha. We'll go more in depth in that, of course. So let's go back to Louisiana, man. So how was it growing up out there?
Oh, man. It was wild, man. I don't go down the story of like, I'm from the hood and all this other crazy stuff, but I will say that like it was just a different world. Like it was drug infested. It was poor. I'm not gonna say it still is, but the parts of it
Louisiana, even when I was there, like I think Louisiana is the poorest state in
they
the
always
country?
in like the 49th and the 50th.
Yeah, they somewhere in there.
All that, yeah. I mean, I love home, man, but just my upbringing. Well, first of all, I come from a huge family, so I think that's what kind of made it a real difference for me. Like just coming from that environment, it made a difference coming from a big family. I got over 60-something first cousins.
Yeah, I say, man, you still in my questions, man. Let me get these questions out for you, man. Yeah, like you said, you come from a massive family, 50 to 60. Boy, I bet grandma's house was crazy.
Oh, yeah, man.
Well, all y'all ever over there at the same time, or?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even when it's like, when it was just a regular day, like grandma's house used to be bumping, on both sides, my mom's side and my dad's side. God. And they was right around the corner from each other.
Golly, so how was it having like that much family around? Like I got 4 cousins. That's it. I couldn't imagine what is that like 20 times as many cousins? I don't even know, man.
I don't know, man. I just like man, it was just different. And like it was actually normal to me because I just had so much love, and I had like I'm not actually only child from like my mom and dad. I mean, I have siblings, but from my mom and dad, I'm the only child. And my dad comes from 8, and my mom comes from 12. So I was the only child, but I didn't feel like I was the only child because I was always around 1,000,001 cousins, and I grew up with them. So it was a dope experience.
Had brothers and sisters. Basically.
Yeah, man, and nobody really messed with us. Like
I wouldn't mess with y'all. There's 60 of y'all. Who messing with y'all? I ain't messing with y'all either.
Shout out to sign your quarters.
Wow, man. So let's go. To what you're here for, not yet. We're not going to the rebrand yet. But as far as the singing, let's start building this singing background up, man. How old were you when you decided to start singing?
Decided. I think it chose
Well, not
me.
decide. I don't think nobody ever decides.
I think it chose me, man. Yeah. My mom said I started singing like really early, like really before I started like forming sentences. I was
just
singing.
humming.
I was singing, yeah, and trying to imitate Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross. I was trying to imitate everybody I could. And I started in the church though. I mean, most people do.
That's some of the best singers starting. I mean, the deep soulful singers starting in the church.
Yeah,
though.
man. So I started in the church, and it was really dope. Mount Calvary is where I started actually singing, and beyond that, like my mom got me involved in like performing arts and all that. So I went to performing arts school, and that's when I started like learning classical repertoire and learning different ways of singing and sight reading and all that other stuff. So that's when I started like competing in like different competitions nationally. So I was in the National Boys Choir, and we were like touring and everything.
Yeah, so let's get to this performing arts school. You was there from what, 2nd to 5th grade, correct?
Yep, 2nd to 5th grade. Yep.
I might sound ignorant. I apologize if I do. How was this? Was it like victorious? Like victorious? Is it like that in the performing arts school, or was
it was kind of like that though, man. I'm not gonna say it's like a Juilliard or anything, but like you were required to be like like have a bunch of different like concentrates. So I played the trumpet. I played. I was in the choir. I did musical theater. I did tap dancing, and then piano lessons.
So is it like a regular school, and then like you do the extra, or it's like you got to go to another school?
It's both. It's both. They did all the like the regular curriculum that they had to do, but I mean anything extra was forming around performing arts. And most time we didn't get out of school at the same time as most kids did.
What time y'all was getting out of school?
Like I probably what time usually like elementary?
Like was it 3?
I usually get out like 2, 3. We usually get out like 5.
Oh nah.
Because we had other things to do. So like I mean
every day, like
most days, yeah. Definitely me. I was involved in everything.
So
and it was good for my mom because I'm a busy person. I always stay busy. So
you said you learned how to sight read, dance.
Yep, all that tap dancing and all that, man. I learned all that from that school and just being involved. And then they had like different things inside the school that like different like I guess subgroups that kind of, you know how parents got connections and all that. And that's kind of how I got involved touring and all that because somebody else was in it. Did you know about this? And they'll talk. Can I talk to your mom? And they'll talk to my mom and she get me in all the different programs and stuff, and yeah.
So this National Boys Choir, man, y'all won 2 national competitions. How are these competitions? Like, put me there. Like,
man, like like you know, like charter buses and all that. So we'll get on the bus and all that. Go to, I think both of them was in Tennessee, actually, Nashville, Tennessee, or Gatlinburg, because we went to Dolly World. I remember that as a kid. But we would go to the competition, and each competition was set up in like 3 or 4 different segments. I can't like, you know, specifically remember, but one was like sight reading. One was like the performance, like of the actual choir of whatever song you did. And then the other one was like your solo people, your solo artists, and how well they did and the solo. And I was a soloist. So we did all 3 of those. So you would have to go in a room. Like everybody would have to go in a room lined up with nothing in your hand, yada, yada, yada. And they hand you some fresh paper, like fresh sheet music. And then when you got to hurry up and read this sight music, and you only got like 10 minutes to learn this song and really like perform it. And that's basically what you was you know, tested on that part. That was the biggest part. And then of course, whatever songs your choir director, you know, chose to, whatever she chose to, you know, perform at that performance.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
So we were doing that, like you said, from 2nd to 5th grade, and then you about to move to another school.
Yep.
And that's when the move happened.
Yeah. So I went to, it was at Broadmoor and Westdale, but I was still in the gifted and talented program.
There you go, a little humble brag. Let them know. Yeah, I was gifted. Let them know.
I was gifted in the talented program, so I was. And that was the first time in middle school. That was the first time I actually did anything athletic. Like I was always a little athletic, but that was the first time I like ran track. Because everybody, oh, you fast. I'm like, okay. So I ran track. That was my first time I actually even ran track. Because before that, it was just everything performing arts.
That's dope. That's dope. So, what think we about to decide the next school we going to, and surprise you about to come to Georgia. So
yeah, man, I'm literally looking at high schools. I mean, 2 high schools are trying to recruit me just for singing. And I remember like going through the whole process, and then after Katrina happened, my mom was like, "We moving." I didn't know we was moving to. So my mom originally told me we was coming to Atlanta, and I'm like, "Oh, cool."
Well, to be fair, when I was in Louisiana, everybody just assumes Georgia is one city. So
New Orleans. You from New Orleans? No, I never said I was from New Orleans.
Hey, see that? When I was in New Orleans, where you from? I'm from Warner Robins. What is that? You from Atlanta? No, I'm from Warner Robins.
Yeah.
Nah.
Are you from Georgia or you from Atlanta?
You know the Migos? Like, no, I don't actually. I don't. I swear I got that every time.
Man, I get the same thing with Boosie and Wayne.
Oh, you know Boosie?
Oh, you know Gates and them? Like, nah, I do not.
The only cool thing when I was in New Orleans, where I stayed in River Ridge. Well, I guess New Orleans, it's like kind of like Warner Robins, Centerville thing. Mm-hmm. But it was right down the street from Holly Grove. And I was like, oh, snap, there's Holly Grove right here. I ain't know it was just literally just a street.
And it looked completely different from what you remember, like, seeing in the music videos and everything else.
Yeah, it looked crazy. But that's why I was like, I know. She might have really thought y'all was going to Atlanta, or at least near Atlanta. That's how they do.
Nah, man, I think she tried to get me. I think she tried to get me. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, I thought I was coming to Atlanta. I thought I was gonna be able to, come to the performing arts school and all that. But then when we moved to Warner Robins, because we had family down here. One of her sisters lived down here. the Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm.
So we came down here, and it was a complete shock for me. Like, everybody just cared about sports. Nobody nobody was really like singing and performing, dancing. I'm like, where the programs at? Like, what's going on?
You in the deep south here. We don't care about number football.
And I'm sitting there like, yo, this is wild. So you know what I did? I played football. I was just like, all right, well, I'm pretty straight. I'm all right. So I'm gonna play football. That was the first time I even put pads on in 9th grade.
That's crazy. We're gonna get to that. But I know one thing that you had mentioned was a lot of people thought you came down here from Katrina, which it wasn't because of Katrina.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part. So like, yeah, I wasn't a part of, what they call them refugees, but I mean, they didn't have no homes. But regardless, all the people from New Orleans, they thought I was with them. So I used to literally got to defend myself and getting into fights just because they thought I was from New Orleans like everybody else. Oh, you from Louisiana? Oh, you ain't about nothing? Like, I got people just threatening me. I'm like, bro, I ain't even do nothing. Like, why you want to fight me? Man. So, like, I wasn't a part of that. Like, and my mom chose to come down here. We had a little damage from our house. We got that repaired, and then, yeah, she chose to come down here. She just wanted to get away.
It's like crazy timing. And like I said, as somebody who lived in New Orleans, I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't, like, you know how serious it is, but you don't know till you, like, get there. Like, I was getting there and I was seeing, like, damn, I'm like, why these houses down? Oh, that's from Katrina. They just never came back to fix them. Like, a lot of people never came back. So, like, that's crazy to think. Like, it's people who got pushed around all over. And that was, I guess, it's good that you all didn't have to do that, but.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my family did, though. Like I remember it was, like, 13, 14 people that was living with my dad after Katrina. Like, yeah, it was a lot of my family that came and lived with my dad, and I think some of them went to Texas, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people was going like Houston, or they was like, or the other places. But like I said, I'm glad that you all, that wasn't the cause of having to leave.
Yeah, for sure. So
back to this football, man, what position you played?
Fullback, man, fullback.
Fullback.
I played fullback. I did linebacker for
I thought you would get a linebacker. I would have said linebacker.
All right, so dig this. I was not this big.
Okay, my bad, dude.
The Army made me this big. And I know we're going to get into that later, but I'm just saying, like, I wasn't big. I wasn't big in high school at all, really. Like, I had a little frame in high school, like a little bit of, maybe in like 12th grade I got a little bit, but nah, I didn't hit my big growth spurt until like 19, 20 years old.
All right, so I got $1 million question I ask everybody who brings up they played sports before, man. I need you to be honest with me, man. Were you good?
Nah, not really. I was good at like knowing the sport. I learned the sport, and I probably would have been a great coach just because once I learned the sport, I can analyze a lot of things. And I'm like, okay, I see these. But as far as being committed, I think it was my commitment though. It wasn't that like I didn't have the athletics and I didn't have the body for it. Like, I was good on that front. Like, I can run people over. Like, I was pretty good. Definitely in my 10th grade year, I started getting like actually good. But I wasn't committed to it. I didn't care enough about it.
That's real. Sometimes,
just to be honest, like, I just like when it's like, oh, you gotta get up in the morning, you gotta train, you gotta do this, and I'm like, I don't even like this. Why would I do all this? Like, why? For a letter? Even though I eventually did get my letter because I played some varsity games in 10th grade. But regardless,
hey, talk that talk. Tell them stop playing with you.
But regardless, like, I wasn't committed to it. I ain't like it like that. Even when I started getting a little good, like, I just wasn't committed to it. And then I got bunion surgery. So, like, yeah, I got bunion surgery in high school. Them joints were swole, man. I had big old bone spurs at the edge of both of my feet. And the only reason I found out because they started like really hurting, and it was because I was training to like for football.
So, okay, you explained. I was going to say, how are we having? I'm not trying. That's an old person injury.
Yeah,
man.
bro. And then it was like you can do it separately or you can do it all together. And I was like, if I do it all together, they say I'll be in a wheelchair. I'm like, bet. So everybody gonna have to push me around. Cool. And that's exactly what everybody did.
I mean, you could have pushed yourself, man. You could have just.
Oh, I was. And that's actually kind of how I kind of got like a little big. Because, I mean, you had to push yourself. But everybody was trying to get out of class just so they can push me.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, I got you. Hey.
Yeah, but like, I got to get out of class. I got to get him.
Hey,
it's too many people in the hallway.
Well, my homeboy used to do that. That's how everybody got to know him. And he had broke his hip. So somebody had to get with him on the elevator. So every time, he's like, hey, yeah, you come on, leave out 10, 15 minutes early from every class.
I was caking it.
So, after the wheelchair, that's Because you weren't doing a lot of music related stuff when you first got down here, were you?
Actually, immediately when I got down here, when people found out I could sing, I did the talent show at Huntington. I won the talent show at Huntington Middle with John Jackson, which he's the football star. That's what everybody knew him for. But I mean, that's kind of how I started playing football for real. It was like him. He was like, "Oh, come and play football." I was like, "Okay, whatever." But him and his family like did music and rapped and all that other stuff. So that was my first time like actually getting in the studio and actually writing and all that. We had a couple little songs out there. Before 10th grade, we had like DL Chick. Some people know about DL Chick back in the day.
DL Chick.
DL Chick, yeah. So.
Now, what song I remember from you from way back in the day? I'm talking about way back in the day.
I had a couple songs with Polo.
That's what I'm about to say. Yeah. It had to be Polo. That's the one I remember.
So we had I Try, but the one that everybody was Ride With Me.
Yep, that's it. That's the one.
You and me today, let's ride the night away.
I ain't trying to hype you up, but I was like, oh, Polo got he got somebody professional on here with him, man. I didn't even know you was in the same town. I ain't trying to hype you.
Yeah, man. Polo a dope dude, man. I ain't talked to him in years, but man, I'm glad to see he still doing good, man.
No, shout out Polo, man. He the next one to come up here soon, man. We gotta have that sit down, one of the goats.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
But so singing was your thing. You was kind of in and out of it. Then you said you got into the sports, and then after you got out the wheelchair, you did not go back to play football.
They were like, "Oh, you good to go again?" I'm like, "Okay."
But I ain't going.
I'm good.
No thanks. No thanks.
So that's when I got back in the chorus and drama and all that. And I went to compete nationally immediately, and nobody knew who the hell I was because they were like, "Who is this little brown dude?" Because wasn't a lot of us in those like competitions. Like definitely like the thespian competitions, you didn't really see a lot of us. And then like when it came to choir, when you do the sight reading and all that, it definitely wasn't a lot of us. So like they didn't know who the hell I was. And I was just coming in, kind of already knew what I was doing already because I've been doing this all my life. I just took a hiatus.
I wouldn't even know where to sign up for that stuff. What do you sign up for that? For somebody who maybe wants to do it?
Well, I mean, they got them in, like most of these schools have, most elementary and middle school, they got choirs. And people don't think that these choir teachers don't have connections and don't know the organizations that's going around in the city, but they do. They know what's going on, and they also know that they ain't about to tell everybody about it, because if you ain't good enough, they don't want you to get your feelings hurt because you got to audition for all these type of programs. You have to. You got to audition. So when I went in and auditioned, they were just like, "Who are you? Like, how you know I do this?" And it's just like all of it came natural to me, because I kind of was, I wouldn't say groomed, but like I kind of was groomed to learn. You've been doing it
forever. Yeah, I didn't know all this was going around. So you got into it serious again. You won some competitions too after that, didn't you?
Yeah. I won some competitions, like all district. I forgot what position I placed at all state for like solo, but it's honestly because I didn't want to do classical repertoire. I did one, but I wanted to do like a soul record. And my choir director did not want me. She was like, "Nah, I don't think they will receive that well." She was right though, because I didn't do a soul record at all. I did I did Summertime, like Summertime. But I ain't gonna lie, I did some runs. It was fire. I'm not gonna lie, because I had a record executive actually approach me that time when I did that. But I didn't place that well because I went off script. Like a little bit. I started to do my own little thing.
Hey, hindsight 2020, if you had another chance, would you still do the same thing, or would you change it up?
I'd probably do the same thing.
I felt like you was gonna say that. That's why I asked, man. Stand by. That's all. So you killing it on the scene. Of course, you winning these competitions, but at this point you're in 12th grade, and it's about time to make a decision on your next steps. And your decision shocked basically everybody, from what I was told. What exactly did we decide to do?
Everybody thought I was gonna either go to school for computers, or they really probably thought I was gonna do something with singing. And I'm not a loan person. Like my mom always taught me about debt, like really early. So when they was talking about them student loans, and they were like, we got partial scholarships for this and all that, because I got into it a little late. So like even when I was trying to go audition for some of these programs, it was kind of, they already had most of the positions filled, so they can only offer me, no matter how good I was or whatever, they can only offer me partial scholarships. So I didn't want to do that, so I went to the military. I signed up for the Army National Guard, man. But I signed up for a certain program. Like I ain't just go to go because they was gonna pay for school. I signed up for the state service scholarship. and it's a scholarship program where one of the criteria in it is you have to be in the guard, but the other you got to like test into it. You got to have the test scores and all that because it's a real scholarship. But they pay your room and board and your tuition for 2 years at GMC, but at GMC in Milledgeville. So like the real GMC, like I know there's a bunch of like satellite campuses everywhere else, but the real GMC in Milledgeville, the one you gotta, that the only people that staying on campus are the people that were cadets. And yeah, that was just like being in AIT all over again.
Did you went in and enlisted though?
Yeah, I went in.
Why didn't you do the cadet program?
Cause I didn't want to.
I'm just saying, man.
I could have went to the cadet program, but that means I didn't want to make that commitment. I already knew that I was doing this for school.
Commission what, like 2 years?
Yeah. So after you did all that, you still have to have that commitment. I knew as soon as my contract was up, unless something bigger came, I was about to go warrant though before I got out, but I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's dope, man. What was your MOS?
91 Kilo and 91 Fox. So 91 Kilo is tanks. So that's tank repair. So that I learned that in Fort Lee. And then 91 Fox is a small arms repair. So everything around weapons. Completely opposite what I do in civilian life. but hey, look, they said you want to wait to go to school or you want to take these jobs right here. I took the whatever job that I saw that was okay, just so I can leave, so I can come back and take that scholarship. I wanted to hurry up and start school.
Nice.
That was my motivation. Like everything was just so I can get back and start school.
That's dope. And at your time in the National Guard, you earned the rank of sergeant, correct?
Yeah, big Sarge. Big Sarge.
Big Sarge.
Big Sarge.
Hey, that's impressive too for people who don't know the Reserve National Guard. It's not like active duty where you see a lot of 21-year-olds as sergeants and things like that. Because in the National Guard, we all know, man, people get there and they don't leave. So like,
what?
You don't really have a lot of spots. So like in 6 years, 9 times out of 10, you gonna get out of there a specialist. That's the best you probably gonna do, unless you just really one of them guys. So that's why I brought that up, just to give you credit for 6 years to end up as a sergeant.
I appreciate that, man.
That really shows you was putting in some work. So what advice would you give to somebody who's considering the Army, good or bad? This, All
right, well, the good thing is, I mean, the benefits. Like, I ain't got to go all the way into that. Like, I don't have to go all the way into it. But the benefits is awesome. But the other good thing is, I mean, education. Like, there's a bunch of different, like, programs to, they'll educate you. Or they'll pay for your education. And that's a big thing that a lot of people don't have. The bad things is you got to pay attention to what's going on in the world, and then you got to pay attention to your job. And depending on your job you pick, or it's depending on the probability if you're gonna go over there or not, or go in places you don't want to go. But of course, at the end of the day, you signed up for it.
With your MOS, were you ever in?
No, I never had to go. No, I never had to go. I could have went. They gave me an option because I was in school. They gave me, it was like, yo, you want to go? And I was just like, can I stay in school? They was like, nah, you're going to drop out of school. And I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I'm cool. Because like with my MOS, because of course, thank you for your service, of course, I'm a combat engineer. But like how you say you got to pick your job right. I ain't going to front. I picked my job because basically I'm a combat engineer, but all we do is build bridges over water. So unless there's a conflict,
sounds cool until you
break it down. Yeah, because anything else, basically I'm a 12 Charlie, but anything that's not water related, you gonna call a 12 Bravo because they do route clearance and they can build the same thing we build. Anytime they need to deploy somebody, they gonna call the 12 Bravos because they do more than us. So the only way they would send us is if literally all the Bravos was gone. Like I had to. Right, so we finished our time in the Army and we moved to IT. What was the reason you decided to get in that field?
I've been a nerd my whole life, like for real. And definitely when it came to technology, I was always fascinated with it. I used to always break and fix stuff. So I literally would break it because I was bad. But then I would put it back together. And then I just constantly started doing it. I built my first like PC at like 7, 8.
Right, was it functional or?
Yeah, like dial up and everything, you know. Yeah.
Oh, you weren't playing no games.
Yeah.
What else? What are some other things you built like growing up?
I mean, I built like a media server at like 12. But I mean, I was in middle school, even before I moved here. I was jailbreaking on like all the iPods and all that, and
make
like
sure everybody get their
the iPhone and all that. Yeah, I was doing mixed. Like I was the school's bootleg man when it came to DVD and mixtapes.
Wow.
Like, because it was easy for me. And then I already knew how to protect myself. I wouldn't, you know how everybody like, oh, you download that, you gonna get a virus on your computer. Like, I knew how to not get a virus because I was already into it already.
If
so.
I do, I know how to fix it. Don't even matter.
Exactly.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm not gonna say who in the room. Hopefully that doesn't affect how you gonna answer this next question.
Nah.
So we end up getting married. And I ask every married man who sits down with me the same question. How did you know your wife was the one?
How or when?
Either
or both.
Whatever that question means to you.
Well, the how was, I mean, it was just the chemistry, man. Like, it was natural chemistry. It wasn't anything like forced. And then, I mean, we kind of just clicked and we started talking about life and everything just lined up, man. And then besides it lining up, she was a dope ass person.
How long you been married?
How long we've been married was our 5th year, just passed in March. So about to go on 6, but we've been together since 2011.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, man. So like, I guess when it came down to like when I knew she was the one though, I think we had just graduated, came down here to go to Clayton State, and the scholarship program, the cadet program at Clayton State, that specific year lost their funding when it came to like the scholarships that they were giving out. So they were only going to give them out to a select few, and we had to earn it. That's not why we came down here, fam. We're not doing all that. So we had a couple options. Like, we had just got this apartment together after completing our associate's degree in Millersville, and we had just moved in together, and we ain't had no like money in there like to flow in. So we had to get out the mud, like for real. Like, we had to get some jobs overnight, working at DHL, overnight going to school, barely sleeping, getting through it, and we made it happen. And whoever got the first like real job, which was her, she held it down until I got my job, and then once I got like a tech support job, I took off after that. But regardless, when I knew that we both can like, you know, get our hands dirty and get it out the mud and really like do it, and we ain't asked parents for help, they didn't even know what was going on, and we just figured it out. And then after she got her job, I didn't get a job because what happened? We interviewed at the same warehouse in Atlanta, but they had 4-hour shifts. So the 4-hour shift was perfect because we can go to work, 4-hour shift, and then go to school. And she got the last 4-hour shift because her last name started with a B and my last name started with an L. For real, because like I got a call right after that saying, hey, you want to do this shift? Like the afternoon shift. I'm like, nah, I got classes. I can't do the afternoon shift. So I couldn't take that job. So I had to keep on doing what I was doing. I was being a bouncer. So I had a little weight then. So I was bouncer at clubs in Atlanta. And then, man, when she got her job, she held it down, man. Whatever little credit card debt we racked up, she took care of that. We took care of it together. And after that, man, I was just like, man, I could do anything with her. Anything.
That's real, man.
So that's what it really was.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful for real, man. All right, so 2019 and 2020, we started a consulting business. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So, well, I actually started in 2017, but 2019, I actually kicked it off. Like, yeah. What happened, man? I was just in the field, and I was bored, and I wanted to learn more. And the only thing that allowed you to learn more was kind of like branching on your own. And then I was presented with opportunity because I was learning more to go to a different company. When I left my current company, and I was running everything, but they didn't want to like give me my raise and all that. They didn't know I was that guy, apparently. I don't know how they didn't know, but they knew. Right, but regardless, I left, and they literally could not function without me. So they hired me on for consulting. Like, and I was doing both jobs. I was doing my main job, and then I was consulting for them on the side. And then once word got out I was doing that, I started doing a couple other little side contracts and stuff, and that's kind of how it took off. Okay, dope. Yeah, I like that. So, you still doing that now, ain't you? Yeah. I do it for a firm now, but yeah.
Okay, talk your talk, man. Okay. And around the same time, we released the EP that did extremely well. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I think around that time, that's when I noticed that you was back in the music. Because I know you had disappeared
I was
for a
quiet,
while.
yeah,
you was
man.
quiet. I seen something, and I was like, oh, he back. One, oh, he still making music? And then two,
Yeah.
oh, okay, what he doing? So talk to us about how that was. Because before that, you hadn't put out a tape. Was that your first project? Or, because I know you did songs. Have you ever did a project
songs.
for?
Nah, that was my first project I ever put out. I did like a little mixtape back in the day. But like it was called like Out of Your Love, but that was like right after high school. Yeah, I did that a long time ago. So that's scrubbed up the internet. You ain't gonna find that.
Oh, yeah. You know, buried it.
Yeah. But that was my first project that I released, and yeah, man, I was real proud of it. I mean, it was about just a relationship cycle. Like even you go into the first song to the end, and then you can kind of just literally just loop it and loop it and loop it. You can go back, and it can kind of go the same way. So I kind of wanted to build a concept around it, and that's what I did. I built the concept album, and I pushed that out, and that was my first time like paying attention to how you're supposed to do things independently, like that you need marketing, promotion, and this, and like that was my first time like doing it all on my own and without like a producer's help or anything like that. Because you know certain producers will try to tell you what to do because they got more experience a little bit in the industry. Definitely some of them, like they'll try to tell you what to do or guide you or whatever. And this was the first time I was kind of just figuring that out, like just trying to figure out who I pay, who's legit and who's not. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, like I learned a lot of lessons, but I got scammed a couple times too.
That comes with it, man.
Yeah.
That's the price to pay for
Yeah,
this shit,
man. So like, and I ain't know that, man. So I let myself get depressed from it a little bit. I almost quit, man, but I didn't. But yeah, like that whole process was really dope for me because I didn't know that so many people like still mess with my like me and like
fact.
doing music.
That's a fact.
Because I kind of like stopped doing music on that tip. I was just songwriting in the background. Like, you know what? I ghost written a couple songs for folks and stuff like that, and I was doing it on that side. But I had never like, you know, came out as an artist, like, you know, like as an artist. And I was doing more than songwriting. So when I did, I didn't think a lot of people would.
Well, I can't speak for everybody, man, but I was happy to see you back, man. And the streams you got on that, the reception on it, from what I know, was pretty strong. How was it for you directly?
Oh man, it was dope, man. I mean, well, you know, with money wise, nah, because you know the streaming, it don't make no sense. The money you get from streaming, literally makes no sense at all. But
is that a code financially? Ain't
yeah, like the money you put into the promotion and get the, you know, attention to your song, dope. I got the streams, I got the attention, the shares, blah blah blah. But the ROI that you get, the return of investment, it doesn't equate unless you do something else with it, which I didn't know, like using the momentum that you have with this.
I was gonna say,
doing all that. I didn't know that
because when I dropped my project.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep 100 on camera. I got some industry ties, so I had a couple back channels
for
pushing it.
sure.
But my tape, and I don't know how it did it. It might have just been posting at the right time or something, or I don't know why. But mine popped up on Apple Music homepage for about an hour.
I remember that.
So it kind of.
I was just sitting there like.
So it was like that kind of, I ain't gonna front, you know. So not because they cared about me, even know who I was, you know. They just clicked on it. So my streams kind of went crazy for that. So I was like, I don't know, that check was kind of nice. I ain't gonna front. I gave it to charity though. I ain't keep it though, because that wasn't what it was for. But I was like, I don't know about that. Now that streaming check was kind of nice.
That project was for charity.
Yeah, every time, because I do my project called Sun God Love. I give it. I've never kept any money from that. I always go to charity, because that's not why we did it. Yeah. But now the reception was dope as far as for your tape, man. I was just happy to see you back into it.
Yeah, but man, it was an exciting time for real.
But I know you mentioned like you had some potential deals or publishing deals. What happened with those? Not to, you know, get too deep in your business.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, the first time something went bad was even before this. Like that's kind of what gave me the little hiatus. It was maybe in 2013, 2014. I had a song. I was featured on somebody's song. It was a little pop record, but it was big. And we were close to a deal, yada, yada, yada. Some people got a little fugazi, I guess is the best way to say it. And the deal didn't go down. And that kind of took me out. it just put me in a state. It's like, man, I'm done with this little industry stuff. Like I'm done. I'm just gonna songwrite. And then fast forward to 2020 and all that. I had certain deals, publishing deals and all that, but it didn't check out based on the relationships that the folks that presented me with it, that took me to the publisher, had with the publisher. It wasn't really, it had nothing to do with me, but because they had a little beef or
that cosign wasn't good.
Yeah, exactly. So that was another time that I was just like, I literally have no control here, but I could touch it, I could taste it, like, you know what I'm saying, some type of recognition, and I got discouraged from it, but I just decided that I was gonna do it a whole different way. I was just like, I'm gonna fund this, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna figure out what marketing I need to do, whatever social media stuff I gotta do, like everything I need to do, even when it comes down to publishing and getting your PRO and all the other stuff. Like, I didn't know a lot about that. Like, I didn't know about the YouTube content, all this other stuff. So these things I'm just learning, and now I'm just doing it independently. I'm just literally learning how to do it on my own.
So I know you're doing it independently right now. If the right deal presented itself, would you consider that, or you all in on independent route now?
If it makes sense, I just think that I'm a worker, man. So like, I want to be involved. So I don't want to just be in a situation that I get, say, signed to a label and they tell me everything to do. Like, I want it to be a true partnership. So if the right deal comes along, then yeah. But I want to be involved in my art because it's important to me. So it's not just I want to sing and I want to be on the stage and I want to do this. Like, nah, I think my art's very important to me, and what I put out and how I present it to the world is very important to me too. So I don't think there's no amount of money that'll just make me grab and just do it. It's just, it has to be right. It's just got to be the right situation.
No, that makes sense.
It got to feel right.
Back when I was making music, it's crazy to say that because I had a contract, Atlantic at the time. Mm-hmm. They wanted me to sign. It was a dope contract. Only big thing was creative control, like you said. Now looking back, hindsight 2020, looking back, what they said was kind of valid. Like, yo, yeah, you dope. You can rap real good, but you don't do no hooks. So like, we kind of need you to do a little bit more. But as an artist, we kind of get, you get offended. Like, what you mean? Like, what you want me for? But that's good to see that, you're really headstrong in what you want to do now.
And did they want creative control, or they just want a bigger percentage of you?
It's crazy, because looking back on it, I had that deal on the table when I was 18. So that's before I really understood.
That was straight out of high school.
I ain't gonna front. I used to be an arrogant ass kid. I ain't gonna front. Like, I used to walk around school with like 5 majors contract in my book bag just to show it all, because like nobody else had these. You just come in random class. What? You say pull our bond out. Oh, hold on. Let me move this slip and slide. That was when they still had Rick Ross, Ply. That was when they was popping. So it was like,
that's when Swayze signed to him too.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. Like, now looking back on it, it was like, yo, back then, what you mean? Because you getting all this attention young. It's gonna keep coming. It don't keep coming. You gotta attack that moment. And like, if you really listen to the business side, what they were saying was 100% valid. Like, yeah, you are a dope rapper, but we can't put you spitting nothing but balls for 4 minutes on the radio. Mm-hmm. But that's why, like, creative control, like you said, you want to be involved in it. Yeah. How serious do you want to be involved? Like, if they was like, yo, we want you, but we want to have, like, maybe not even final say so, but we want to be at the table talking with you too.
I'm fine with that. And that's the thing. It's not that I don't want them involved. They obviously have some type of experience. So it's not even that. It's just, you're not about to tell me no, and I don't want to completely be able to tell you no. This needs to be a discussion instead of, oh, you about to do this. And like, it just needs to be a discussion. Like, it needs to make sense, and it has to make sense for both of our visions.
I think that comes with age, because like now, I would probably be more open to it. It's like, you're just not going to tell me what to do, but if you can explain and justify why you want me to do it, that might can happen. Back then, I'm trying to hear it. Yeah, I wasn't trying to hear it, and that's all me. All right, so I had this question that was brought up. I didn't write it. I like to make sure everybody gets their proper what's what I'm looking for? The proper credit. I feel like I already said that. But how do you think your life would have been different had you stayed in New Orleans rather than coming here?
Well, first, I do have to say that I wasn't in New Orleans.
Oh, excuse me. I was in New Orleans. How do you think your life would have been
I
different?
just gotta correct people, man. Cause I don't want people to be like, oh, you ain't from New Orleans, you ain't even got no accent. Like
I missed them. One thing, I missed them New Orleans accents. Though. I missed them accents, but
baby,
it's first word, baby. I love that.
Wow.
Can you repeat yourself, ma'am? I'm sorry, I ain't hear you. Go ahead.
Just do it again.
Just one more time.
But so like yeah, I don't know how life would be. I know it'd be really different to be away from my mom, but it was already really different being away from my dad too. So I don't know how it would be, but I will know that I do know that I don't regret anything. Like where I am in life now, I don't regret anything. If I wouldn't have, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't know anybody that I know now. Like at least definitely the people to my left. Like I definitely wouldn't know them. And I don't know how my life would be. I don't know if I would even like what it looks like. And the only reason I say that is because of the environment and the resources that Georgia had versus where I was from, and the amount of work that my mother had to put in to ensure that I had access to the resources that other people had to that we didn't. So like I was a part of a bunch of different camps and everything else in Louisiana because I had to be, because of the education. The education wasn't up to par like that, so I always had to do extra things to make sure that I guess I was up to par, because she knew that I was gonna be around a certain group of people and I need to be educated, just to be perfectly honest. So I think it'd be really different staying there. And being around my family, I would love that, but I wouldn't have met my wife. And even thinking about life without her now, so it would, I don't regret anything. Like I'm good. I got a dope family is what I call them. Like all my friends I see them as family. And like I said, I would have met my wife, and I wouldn't have the beautiful life I have now, like without her. So I don't know. I don't even care, just to be honest.
That's about as good as an answer as you can get right there, man. We're going to cut you off right there. So, like I tell everybody, man, I know I'm just so entertaining and you just like to come hang out with me. But we all know everybody come sit down with me for a reason, man.
For sure.
So your reason was, of course, to let everybody know that you're rebranding, man. So talk to us about this rebrand, man. What can we expect from this rebrand?
P.S. Joey, you can expect... R&B ain't never been dead. R&B will never die, first of all. You gonna get that from me. You gonna get crying in the rain, singing, soul music from all eras. I want to touch on 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Now, I am a student of the game. And I want to show that through my art. I also want to be able to touch on mental health because it's really important to me. And I wouldn't be the man that I am today without therapy and psychiatrists, things like that, because I've dealt with mental health issues my whole life. So I wouldn't be the person I am today without going through the things I went through. And I think that's what P.S. Joey shows. Is just a mature, somebody that knows what he wants, somebody that wants to actually, he got something to say. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like before, I just wanted to do music and I just like singing. I just want to release stuff, but I actually have something to say. Like, and I think that was a lot. It had a lot to do with coming out with a different name, something that wasn't linked to my last name, my first name, my childhood name that everybody used to call me. So something that was just completely different that I get to define and I get to define the message and the meaning behind what I want to put out. And yeah, I think that's the best way to put it.
I like that. So peace, love, and telly is part of your rebrand.
Peace, love, and telly, man. So I mean, I can break those down, but I mean, when you hear it, it's like, all right, peace. But there can be peace and there can be peace. But at the end of the day, everybody says, oh, world peace. I think I just want peace of mind, and I want people to learn, how to do self-love and self-care, so they can find a little bit of peace. Definitely being black in America, you got to find that peace. So that's where the peace came from. The love, that's just love, because no matter what we go through in life, you need love, like
Facts.
regardless. Like no matter what you're going through, whoever broke your heart, you need love. So that's a given. And then telly is intelligence. It's just short for intelligence. And I look at myself as an intelligent person, but beyond that, I think it's something I see in my family and my friends, and just period, is the lack of emotional intelligence. And I think that's very important to talk about. And then just the pursuit of intelligence, because everybody doesn't need a degree to have a good job or to support your family. You just need to learn things. You need to learn skills. You need to learn, and I think school has, not to beat on school, but certain college programs and just different, programs in general, education programs, kind of beat it in oh, you need this piece of paper to survive. But we are in the era of technology and information technology, IT. So the information is out there. And I just really want people to be able to research and really know that it's out there. You're on your phones 24/7 anyway. So, at least educate yourself, learn something. So I think that's really important to me. It's just a mental, and that's why I say tell. So the P, it stands for, peaches, and that's, the fruit of Georgia. I've been here more than half of my life now, and it's an important part of who I am as a person. I have a lot of family that I have here now, and I would not be the same without them. So that means a lot to me. And then S is strawberry. That's for Louisiana. That's my home. I'm a Cajun Creole boy from Louisiana. So yeah, that part comes from strawberry. So it has that double meaning. So the PS is postscript, and then peaches and strawberries for the other one. So it's PS Joey, baby.
Perfect. So you kind of already told us what can you expect from this rebrand. Most important question: when is PS Joey giving us some music then?
Next year, man. At the top of next year, I got some content coming out at the top of the year. That's gonna gear up for my releases. I'm gonna have a couple singles come out before I release a project. But I got some stuff cooking in right now. That's touching on everything. I got a wedding song. I got a couple mental health songs. I got my main love song that everybody loves. And then I got some dance records. I got some old school Isley Brothers type vibe.
The Isley Brothers.
You know what I'm saying? I got something like that. So I got a lot coming, man. Like I said, I'm a student of the game, so I wanna pay homage to those guys, and just make dope music, and then also tell a story and put out some dope art, and then get my message out there. You feel me?
Oh, that's dope. That's dope, man. We excited to hear. I like to try to box artists into a certain date. You said top of the year. Now that's already mid December.
Oh yeah.
What is top of the year? Is that January? That February?
No, it's January.
Okay.
It's already done. So it's just the putting them in the little release joint and press and release. That's really all it is.
Okay, that's why we gonna ask much further than that. So this is the part, man. I feel like somebody who didn't know you can just literally watch this video. They'll pick up from the time in Louisiana with your 60 cousins all the way to winning awards. Your time playing football, your injuries, your music, you really touched on a lot. I feel like we've accomplished what we wanted to do in this video. But like always, of course, nobody knows you better than you. So this is why I like to leave the floor open for anything that hasn't been said or asked to you, to kind of tie up any loose ends for your people.
Well, I think you asked most of the questions. I just want people to stay tuned, and just enjoy the art. And I actually want to actually be more involved with my with people who love my art. I know they're fans, but people who enjoy my art, I want to be more involved, because I don't know what people enjoy, because I can sing any song for the most part. I got a big range. So definitely when it comes to the covers, I'm not big on covers like that. Like people ask me, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Even though I know that's a part of the, definitely for singers at least, it's a part of, coming out and getting noticed. And I hate that part of it, I do, because I rather sing my songs. Like, I got songs too. So I mean, I think I'm gonna definitely do some covers, but only some stuff that actually means something to me, and songs that actually mean something for my brand and my purpose. So it ain't gonna be just, cause this song's hot. Like, nah, I want to make it my own and put it out there and like really do it. I don't want to just put on the beat, sing in front of a mic and just sing. Like, I don't want that. I actually want to put a production together as a cover, but like put it out as me, as PS Joey. Like when I'm singing this, I don't want you to just hear that song. I want you to hear, oh, that's PS Joey. That's him. He doing that. Like, say, a lot of people don't know that Maxwell song, that's Woman's Worth by Kate Bush. Nobody has any idea that that's not his song. But every time you hear it, that's Maxwell's song.
That's fair.
Love and Basketball, you hear it, all that. But everybody thinks that's Maxwell's song, and it's not. And I just want to do that when I do covers. Same as Lauryn Hill, she did some covers out there too. Like, I mean, a lot of people do covers, but make it your own. I just don't want to be out here doing covers just to do them.
Yeah, it is an unfair thing because people do like, I like hearing singers do covers because I think because you've heard the song, like when you hear them, you have in your mind like a bass line. So if it's like, yo, I know how they sung it. Yours sound better than theirs. Okay, now I like what you're doing. That's kind of, I guess it leads people into then wanting to hear your own music.
Yeah.
But that's kind of unfair because as rappers, we don't have that problem.
Y'all ain't got to do that. Y'all can just release y'all music and do some interviews, do some music videos, and you
couldn't even do a cover. That's called stealing somebody's music. Like you couldn't even do that. Like no.
And they expect singers just to do covers and do cover. Oh, sing this next and sing this next. And I used to do that. Like I was on YouTube really early doing all that. I didn't delete all of it, scrubbed all of it. I mean, I didn't know.
As soon as you left, I was sure about to pull it up. He said he been doing. Let me see what he doing.
Nah, I've been doing this for a while, man. This is probably like my third rebrand, I guess. Because the first one was just because I didn't want to do covers no more, and then the second one I didn't want to do music no more. Not as an artist. So I scrubbed everything off. But the first one I should have never scrubbed though, because a lot of that stuff is on Facebook though. I will say that I didn't delete it, so you can go and look at that though. Okay. Like on my Facebook page, a lot of those old covers are still on there, and I left it there just because, just so you can see it. So
I'm not gonna say your Facebook name, but if your stuff started to go up after this video release, man,
it's PS Joey.
Okay.
Everything is PS Joey.
Okay, just
and then the IG is PS Joey Boy. Like as far as the @ But yeah, PS Joey everywhere. And psjoey.net is the website. And you already know that the website gonna look good.
Oh, we already know.
Yeah,
especially you in IT, you better, that website better look good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the bare minimum on that one.
Exactly.
But anything else you want to say, man? The floor is still yours, man.
Nah, man, I think I'm good, man. I just want to get more involved, man, and I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about next year, man. And definitely, if you still up for it in your bag, we gotta do a record. We've been supposed to do a record like a while ago.
Man, I don't even make music, but I said there's probably about 3 to 4 people who could call me. I'm gonna come up with something for you.
Yeah, let's go.
And you definitely one of them people, man.
Yeah,
so when you need me, man, you give me a call. We're gonna make something happen, man.
That's love, man.
But you definitely talented, man. I'm happy. Like I said, I know you took a break. I'm excited to see you back. Like I said, I can't speak for nobody else, but I know there's plenty of people who feel like me, who's ready to see it, ready to hear it, man. We appreciate you. We know you're talented. We happy to see you putting it back out there for people.
That's right.
And we just excited to see the next steps for PS Joey this time, man. It's new for me. I just want to call you JoJo so bad, but now
I know.
It's like, yo, all right, we got to get ready for PS Joey. I'm excited to hear it, man. And I just thank you for coming to sit down with me, man. It's an honor and a privilege. And yeah, we just looking forward to it, man.
I appreciate you, man.
But if you have nothing else to say, my name is Lawrence Ray, and we are done.